Welcome to Enlightened AF. I'm Tricia Carr.
And I'm Aidan Demarest.
You're just like texting.
And I'm done with that.
Wow.
Welcome.
Hi. Welcome. And
welcome, everybody. Welcome back.
If it's your first time listening or watching, you know, we have been on a strong hiatus. We have been on a
Summer
sturdy
holiday.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
A long dick kind of hiatus. Yeah.
It didn't feel like that.
No, I know. Like last year, after we did about 20 episodes, and then we were like, "Oh, we're gonna take a Christmas break," and then 4 months later, we came back. Christmas was long.
We take like Italian holidays,
right?
Like, so that's like 8 weeks long.
But here, okay, so
when was our last one?
I don't.
Do you know?
Yeah, we did a half-assed one about 3 months ago.
They were all half-assed.
That's the whole thing. All right, so
Facebook.
But let's for people who would, because we maybe all of our listener are here, and maybe
All
there
of
were
Is he here?
he might be here. I mean, in addition to Curt, the producer. Yeah.
All of our listeners here.
So no, but let's talk a little bit about the show to get started. So
Okay.
I'm Tricia. I am an intuitive, a medium. I'm a hypnotherapist now too. See, this is something you don't know about me. I'm an animal communicator, a general woo-woo crazy lady. I coach
True
people
story.
in their spiritual development and all kinds of stuff. And but you know, I also like to tell jokes with this dude here. And this is Aidan Demarest.
I'm Aidan Demarest.
Why are you here? What's your deal?
Why am I here?
You know.
Right? I forget why. Like, where did we start with this thing?
Well, just pretend like they don't know who you are, because they don't.
I'm Aidan Demarest.
Yeah.
I live in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, we all do. Yes.
Yeah, we
it's
all
true.
do, right? Oh, we're in Burbank.
Right.
I won't go into my diatribe about Burbank.
We're in Burbank,
We're in
California.
Texas.
Right now. We're not in Texas. We're in Burbank. He calls that's an inside joke.
Yeah, California. Yeah, Burbank is the Texas of California.
And so
And I am.
well, you're on a spiritual journey.
I'm on a spiritual journey.
Yeah, and a sarcastic one, more primarily.
What do you mean sarcastic? You can't be on a sarcastic spiritual journey.
Just a sarcastic journey. Your life is sarcasm.
I just self-deprecate my spirituality. How about that?
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, because I can't buy it 100%.
So we're both on these. We meet in the fact that we do come back to the heart, but we like to tell jokes.
Yes.
Aidan likes to talk about his perverted, diverse ideas.
Ideas.
Yeah. And past
I've had
activities.
zero, we'll get into that. But I've had zero diverse or perverted, and during our summer break, I was just nothing but a dad and a worker bee.
Oh.
So I have no good stories for you.
Well, no, but you pull from the past too.
I have a colorful
of
past.
which there is plenty.
Yes, I have a colorful past.
There's a veritable treasure trove.
Yes, and you don't.
So this show, I don't know.
So we dig through all mine. There's
And I'm
nothing
like, what else is in there? Yeah, I had sex yesterday for the first time.
with one person.
With one person only ever.
Missionary style, lights out.
5 minutes, I'm exhausted. So this show is about spirituality, but more than that, it's about making fun of the ego, I would say. And sometimes making fun of the way that we go about our personal development. And then, just kind of bring...
we could have called it grain of salt.
What?
We could have called it grain of salt.
Grain of salt. Right, I like
because
it. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Obviously I was a pretty voracious partier and lived a big life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got real small and got real clean and sane. And then I realized that there was somewhere in between that.
Do you hear the buzz buzz?
I hear a buzz.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you guys, about the buzz buzz. We're working out the kinks.
Right.
What is it?
I'm trying to find it.
Did
Okay.
I do something when I moved this?
There's probably a cord
Maybe
cross
it's
somewhere
this-
that shouldn't be.
Maybe it's the crystals. Do you guys see all the crystals in front of us?
No, not really.
They
we
don't
have
see that?
several. Well,
Anyway, see all this kind of thing, which 100% I meditate.
Yeah.
I do all the things. I sort of I believe in crystals and what Tricia does, meaning Reiki and hypnotherapy.
I actually
and all
don't do Reiki, but yeah,
Oh,
I do.
okay.
I do energy healing, but
actually
just not the
don't know what any of
Reiki
it is.
system.
But I've had plenty of people stand over me with like cups of energy,
Cups.
different kinds of cups.
Yeah, they've been D cups sometimes.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's I think my whole story. And I run bars and nightclubs here
Yeah.
in Los Angeles, so
Yeah.
that's a dichotomy. And I have 3 kids,
Yeah,
right?
giant ones now.
Big giant people.
Yeah.
Yeah. They really are.
Did I tell you
Just
about
monsters?
I told you one time.
I don't recommend them.
I don't recommend
all.
them.
Not
I
a
don't
good
recommend. I recommend the Moscow Mule, but not the children. Yeah.
100%. Or the children and many Moscow mules.
So I have this friend, and we're colleagues, and we're kind of on this work trip together. This is my past life career. I mean, in this life, but another career that I had. We're on a work trip.
She was a snake oil salesman.
And kind of getting to know this person, and he mentioned his kids, and I was like, "Oh, you have babies?" And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I mean, they're not babies anymore. They're assholes." For those of you listening, he made the height like they were really tall, but then said assholes. Yeah.
So true. Although I don't remember a phase when mine weren't.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You actually have your earphones in the opposite ears, and that's why they're sticking out like that.
Is there a right and a wrong on
Yeah,
them?
it says left and right on them. It says
does?
L and R.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
There
is
you
that
go.
much more comfortable?
I came straight from the gym, and I'm pretty amazed and it's Monday morning.
At your sexiness?
Yeah, I'd hit me.
You're usually amazed at your own sexiness.
I kind of am. It's a gift that God gives me every day.
Yeah.
Every day I kind of find another reason that I'm better looking.
Well, so that's the show, and it's called Enlightened AF, and the F stands for F, the F word. I like to sometimes say the fuck word, which I think is funny.
Hey, did you take our one fuck?
We have this rule that Aidan likes to just blaze past, which is only 3 shits and 1 fuck per episode.
That's what she seriously told me as one of the provisions to the show when we started, is that we had 3 shits and 1 fuck.
Per episode.
But we use up all of those, and usually the explanation of that. So I'm holding on to mine for later in the show when it's appropriate.
We've already done them all.
No, that was just the explanation. The disclaimer includes fucks. It's not included. That's not the inclusive.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's
so you need to either put that in writing
litigious,
on the beginning.
yes, very
I think
litigious
you should put
of
it,
you.
Right. Put it in the beginning as like an asterisk disclaimer.
Yeah.
Or I get to say like gratuitous fucks throughout the show.
Okay.
Because you have already blown the whole situation.
So we actually do need to catch up because it's been a while since we've done this program, and we have been busy. Well, Aidan has been really busy because he started a new nightclub and bar and situation.
Yep.
But we wanted to catch up. So I mean, like, what's going on with you?
What the F?
Yeah. So Aidan actually is on a sober journey too. So that's a part of what we talk about, his past not sober journey.
Right.
And but
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of sums up the show.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to? What's been going on with you?
Let's see. A lot. Summer happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, this happened too. We're in a new studio. That's
I know.
right. This
This
is my
actually
studio.
is pretty cool.
This
right?
is cool.
And I bitch about being in Burbank, but I did. We are not in Hollywood anymore. Which,
Yeah.
although I love that studio and the people in it, it was not handy to get to.
No?
No.
This is handier?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I
'Cause
live
just
right there. I'm right there.
Well, that's right. I'm actually 2 miles closer to Glendale, which is where you live. Yeah.
Yes. Right. And there's big, huge parking lots out here in the plains.
Of Texas, this is what he
Yes,
says.
Right.
So
And
what else?
plenty
So
of- anyway.
So we moved here, and then you
You
started
moved
a new
there.
gig.
I started a new gig.
Very fancy one.
Yep. Very similar to what I used to do. I mean, that I've always done, but I was doing it much more. It's just a lot less on my own terms and my own time. Which is something I chose to do, something I opted back in.
Right.
I sort of opted back in.
Well, you have also been, so far as your spiritual practice, you've been super into intuitive eating, right?
Yeah.
But you also said something about Ayurvedic, which I don't really know about. But yeah.
That's been really interesting to learn about.
Yeah?
And it was necessary. It was necessary, and it was a thing. I'm reading this book. I got a book from a dear friend of mine, and I already had really been. So ever since I got sober, and like for the last 5 years, I've really been into like intuitive cooking for my kids. Cooking was a big part of my healing process for my family. I don't know why. It was just like the one thing I could do, especially in the beginning. That was like, I wasn't able to like verbalize really any of the sort of my amends, but cooking for my family was like something that just brought me a ton of joy. And also I was on the mend physically.
Yeah.
And I felt like my kids were too. They were heading into teens. There was acne and, adolescence and all this stuff. And I could just see that they're
Pubescence.
imbalanced.
Yeah.
Teens are so imbalanced. And so are newly sober 46-year-old guys. You know what I mean? Just like everyone's hormones are heading in different directions.
Yeah.
And sucking.
Yeah.
And it really was like intuitive cooking wasn't something that I sort of thought out right out of the gate. But you could really feel the energy of the house. and who needed what. Did we need fire? Do we need chili? Do we need like stable, something really
and now you're speaking to me because you're talking about working with the elements.
Yeah. Well, so it's like Ayurvedic is like there's Pitta, which is a body type, which is all fire, and then there's Doya, which is like calm. And I don't want to even anyway, reading this book and getting to know my kids.
What's the book? Do you know the name of it?
God, I gotta look it up. I have it. Yeah. In fact, it's really interesting, and I forgot about that.
Well, we
could go through them, but like it doesn't mean that I don't make hot dogs and nachos and all the things all the time.
Hey, you got rid of the hummity hums.
You
Curt.
did. Thank you.
A little bit. Oh, maybe now it started again. I called it into existence.
Yeah. Eat, Feel Fresh is the name of the book.
Eat, Feel Fresh. What'd you say, Curt?
Sahara Ketali.
It's just chords. Some chords are overlapping.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be.
Okay. Well, are you just shaking on them? He's just shaking chords.
I'm just kind of moving chords around.
That's how Aidan kind of handles things. He just starts shaking on chords.
Oh yeah, and turn things on and off.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's a big part of my new job.
That was
dirty.
Did you hear me
say Eat, Feel
That
Fresh?
was dirty. How do you not see me say you just shake on chords and see if something will happen?
That was not.
It was.
That was a reach.
And you do that as well.
Reach around.
That's what I know. That's what I'm
love
saying.
A good reach around. Who doesn't though?
This
show should be called.
Don't.
You don't like a reach around?
No,
Distracting.
Yes.
Okay.
I also don't like 69. It's distracting. I'm confused.
See, I'm a multitasker.
Yeah, I know.
See, I can.
You've talked about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I like a lot of things happening.
No. Yeah.
Right?
No, I don't.
It's almost impossible with 4 people in bed not to 69 at some point or another.
I'm easily overwhelmed, and I don't mean
you gotta
in bed.
give somebody something to do while somebody else is just, So you're kind of handing out assignments when you're at my
So you're afraid
house.
they're going to get bored? Are you going to put your microphone closer to your mouth?
So I kind of have to be like, hey, you take the feet and you take the head, because you got to keep people involved. Somebody feels left
They're
out.
going to get bored?
Yes.
Wow. What does that say about what you're doing then?
What do you mean?
If people are getting bored while you're naked together.
Well, what I try to do is just like managing at work. I manage. I'll be like,
Why are you looking at me?
oh,
You said something about boring and then looked at me.
Curt,
can we talk
Producer
about?
Curt.
First of all, I asked these 2 nerds if they wanted to come to a party at my club tonight.
Yeah.
And I had one answer, which was I'll be asleep by 7.
No, it was I have to work.
She said it, but she said it internally. But the other even better answer was Curt, who said he had a super important D&D appoint happening.
I do. It's the last Monday of the month.
It's
I was talking
which
about
is the dorkiest way to have a D&D the last Monday of the month.
You know how hard
What
it
does
is
that
to
mean?
schedule people? It's
I bet you not difficult at all. I bet you they would all be available in 20 minutes notice every day of the week.
You want your audio and visual expert to be into D&D just generally.
Seriously?
Like it just is a good quality.
I was like, you want to come to my nightclub downtown where we're doing this garden party for Veuve Clicquot with like all
champagne.
these hot models and stuff? He's like, no, I have a D&D party tonight. Super locked up. Yeah. And he meant it.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I have to do this.
I am so grateful for you because it just changes all the douchey comments I'm going to get from people today about like, oh, I hope I can make it right after I do my Emmy pre-party or whatever. I just love the D&D denial.
If
and
I
it was
don't-
a hard out. It was a hard
Yeah.
no.
I'm sorry, but if I don't show up, the party misses a warlock, and then
The party misses a
Me too, but a whole
Yeah.
different party.
whole different kind of warlock.
We
Yeah.
can just go in a whole nother direction on this. Is
Yeah.
there Dungeons and Dragon porn?
I'm
Oh, I'm
there is.
sure.
Or is
There's
all
everything.
porn Dungeons and Dragons?
There's everything porn.
I
Yeah.
think that basically Game of Thrones is Dungeons and Dragons porn.
Right? It's like fan fiction. There's like porn for people who like to watch people pick their nose. Like
Please?
I don't even understand humans.
I'm posting it on the party site that if you came to that party, somebody would be missing a warlock.
They would.
Let your warlocks come to the champagne party.
My whole morning is worth it now. My whole morning. I bitched and moaned about coming to Burbank, but Curt just nailed it.
Okay, so you're talking about intuitive eating and how it heals you and
Yes.
how it heals your family, and I think that's
It's
really
funny.
powerful. Now, here's the thing.
Yes.
There is a distinction, I think, with intuitive eating when people just say like, oh, I'm just going to go with what my body says, and my body thinks Twinkies. But see, no, that's not intuitive eating. That's actually reacting from your imbalances.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, reacting to, yeah, and it's not opposite. You know what though? That's interesting because this weekend I thought about that. Like we had a trying week last week. I have a 15 and a 17-year-old. I have a 23-year-old too, but I don't have to feed him anymore.
He's
I
just-
do though, but like it's interesting. I was thinking about like comfort food, which makes you think like, oh, I'm going to get a bunch of chips and just let them eat ice cream. And then I do.
That's not what I think about comfort food.
Well, for teenagers, like a lot of times, like you're like, oh, yeah, not necessarily comfort, but like fun. You think fun with like you're trying to keep it fun.
Okay.
But I also
kale chips
I also then realized that we were no. But then you also like realize like you're like feeding really the worst you're feeding. It's not fun because then everybody wakes up hungover from the food experience.
Totally.
And I know that from my years of partying, like eat feelings or snort feelings or drink feelings, and then
Or
wake
suck
up
feelings.
and have 10 feelings, a million times worse.
Yeah, it's true.
So anyway, I averted that with like a whole bunch of like sort of having figured out more about like my kids' types and my type.
What's your type? Is your type that fire being?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you eat a lot of fire food.
And you're also,
that means
I
you
know,
try to calm your
you
fire.
need to balance it.
Cucumber, icama, all that stuff.
And he's an Aries.
I'm a
Isn't that
triple Aries.
It's your triple Aries?
Yeah.
Oh, I should have known that before we decided to do
There's
anything.
no oxygen
You're
in this
seriously
room.
triple Aries?
Yeah.
Moon and ascending.
Yes.
That's
you know a lady got up from the
insane.
table and ran when she told me that? She did. She kind of said, and I said, oh, like joking, like, what am I, the Antichrist? And she's like, maybe.
Yeah.
And got up and left.
Your reader?
She threw my little wheel at me and just walked away.
Your astrologer did
Yeah,
that?
the lady that wrote it up. She was like, oh my God. When I sat down, I said
That's
Aries, and she's like, oh,
crazy.
I have a problem with Aries or something. And then I came up triple Aries. She didn't, I didn't pay, and she threw the wheel at me and left.
That's the funniest. I have to tell all of my astrologer friends
She was
that.
having no part of me.
It's awesome.
And I do a lot of jokes about being the Antichrist and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
she was not laughing at all.
That was not funny to her.
I think she went home and saged herself to death.
You're true.
She smudged herself out.
She just erased herself.
She like asphyxiated in her little apartment, her little shitty apartment with
That's
eight cats.
insane. Okay, so let me tell you about Aidan then. So he's triple Aries, apparently. He's also a life path 3, which is all about expression, which is like basically the fire number if there is one. That's insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of fire happening.
That's so crazy.
So like I eat like a bushel of cucumbers every morning just so I don't blowtorch this building.
So you don't burn the bitch down.
Yeah. Well, so that is what. So getting to know that, and in astrology, I don't know if that is the tie-in, but I definitely physically.
It's interesting.
There's a lot of like cooling and things, and
Yeah.
then what's been really interesting. And here's a little thing. Like I have also been challenged. Like my job is really challenging right now. My kids are really challenging, and I don't think people are like love like do you think like fire or pushy or like all of those like big personality things. But I have needed fire in my life lately. I have needed it, and. Not that I've been short on it, but I have utilized it for good.
Right.
So I have been cooking a lot of red bell peppers and like nightshade stuff and all these things which ignite my fire because I have needed it.
Nightshades are like fire?
Yeah, and well, they sort of they're what you should avoid if you're over the top.
I see.
Apple cider vinegar and all that kind of stuff. It all kind of
It's cooling?
apple cider vinegar is cooling. Yeah. For me.
Okay.
But it evens me out, and also then I can sort of dose my fire. Anyway, it's been super helpful.
Well, and are you a combination of those? Because I feel like so what are the other archetypes? So there's like a fire one, there's a calm one.
Look it up.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
never
like that.
mind.
There's like.
What about your kids? Talk about what your kids are, and then maybe that'll help you remember.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my kids are Doya, right? My daughter for sure. And it's pretty easy. It's Eat, Feel, Fresh is the name of the book. Did I show you that?
And yeah, you mentioned it. And might you like swap, like change, and you kind of fluctuate, or is it just sort of a body type that's
I don't know
stationary?
if everybody's as clear cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know
okay.
if everybody's such a clear cut. I you know, it sucks that I've always been, and you are too. I'm such a clear cut astrological situation.
You think I'm clear cut astrologically?
Yeah.
What do you think is clear cut about my?
I mean, you are exactly like your sort of
Yeah.
astrology reading, right?
I'm a Pisces sun.
Mm-hmm.
I am
I think we talked about this.
Capricorn moon, and so that's about the emotions. And then I am a Virgo ascendant, Virgo rising. So
right?
I
Those
appear-
Virgos are so annoying.
I know they are. I
God,
have one.
I can feel that.
I have my sister is a Virgo, and did you see that?
People that I love are Virgo. I know a bunch of people that I love that are Virgos, but man, they're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, no, and then that's what
All
that's what I
flip-flopping and
show.
wishy-washy.
Yeah, flip flopping. No, they're like they're very structured.
Yeah, but can't make a decision.
maybe because of how it has to be so set in stone. Yeah, okay, I can.
Meaning, like, where should we eat? No, you need to have like a 3-week plan for that.
A 3-week plan. Do you see our shots? I think mine needs to be a little tighter. I'm going to do that next time.
That's what he said.
Oh. That's my joke.
I stole it.
I need to pull it in a little bit. Hey, Curt, will you pull my camera in a little bit?
Of course.
There's a lot of purple going on
Where?
everywhere, don't you feel?
Well, yeah.
I guess it looks like I'm wearing purple.
And so, okay, so
I came
Doya.
straight from the gym.
So what does
anyway,
Doya mean?
Your
daughter is Doya.
I gotta look it up. I swear it's like the worst. I'm gonna terrorize this Ayurvedic.
You're gonna bastardize it.
I am, and it's not.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks.
There was recipes and that kind of things in there, but mostly and to me, intuitive cooking is like I do this big farmers market shop every
again.
Sunday.
Yeah.
I have stuff in the fridge, and then I kind of have to let it gel. You know what I mean? And then I add one-off things to it as I'm feeling the house and myself, and like what thing I'm super tired. I should make some soup. Or like I should make a big plate of pasta. I don't think.
What is pasta? What kind of cooling or fire?
For me, that's just straight up carbs. I do a lot of physical work.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm running around for 12 hours, and I've depleted like all.
So it's like sugar. So maybe it's actually like fire and fuel.
I think carbs is sugar. I don't buy into that whole thing. It's not. It's not like.
Well, wheat is.
I hate wheat. First of all, my body loves carbs. I don't function well without them.
No, men do need, generally speaking, more carbs than women. They can't do without them. Not entirely without them. Women can mostly do without them. Not entirely, but yeah, they can.
I think that's just, I do, anyway, carbs versus protein versus vegan versus thing, whatever your jam is for food style and type, it can work.
Oh, totally.
It doesn't have to be, you could be, it doesn't have to be, once you've made a moral decision or certainly like some kind of decision, a weight loss decision, you can still stay within an intuitive eating plan.
Totally.
If you're eating a bowl of almonds or you're eating whatever, or you're eating in small portions or all the things that people do. I just realized that a lot of people are reading something, eating that, so they're doing a super high protein diet, stuff like that. And I can see how sluggish and
and so they're doing it. They're taking the authority outside of themselves rather than feeling deeply in.
Yeah, are you going to live longer? Do you think you're going to live longer because you're eating that way, or look better?
Well, maybe that. I think they want to look better.
That's it. It's look better.
Look better, and looking better is.
But how about
usually
feel better?
Right. Looking better is usually not a strong enough motivation to change your body, because looking better is for most people not a highest value. A higher value is feeling better.
Yes.
And so that's how we actually make changes, whether it's in our diet or our movement program or whatever, is we want to attach the outcome that we want. We want to be able to envision and attach the whole process to our highest value or a highest value. Yes. So it can be I'm not saying
so
it's
much
definitely
of it is driven by looks and meaning like gaining weight, losing weight.
Yeah.
And I can certainly relate to both of those things. I wanted to gain and lose weight in my life.
But there's something more. So if someone thinks I need to look better, there's the greater need is about approval. And that approval is actually a deficiency. And then there's something even more important that wants attention underneath the approval need, which has to do with the inner child and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And there definitely is, it's so funny because I was talking about how I always used to bust on people posting their food, and I am such a food poster now, and I have been the last few years. I constantly cook, and then I post it because I'm proud of it, right? I figured I made something great. I posted nachos Friday night. I posted the hell out of my
pictures
food. Yeah, I'm like an Instagram kid.
Yeah.
Because you finish this accomplishment. There's one part is that I
Are
am
people
a single dad, so nobody
to
gives
it?
a shit about what I've cooked at my house, right? I never get oh my God, unless I get a grown up over. And so I have to get some approval from my sort of Instagram friends.
It
sucks.
I have actually posted food that I've cooked before. And I'm kind of surprised that I do, because I'm not interested in pictures of food.
It is hot. Yeah.
Good, bad, or Tuesday. I told you.
I know.
So
I am interested in pictures of food.
I'm not interested in pictures of food. You know what has been working for me, insofar as I'm
going to show off my Ayurvedic food body. Getting naked. Right
Don't throw it in the shot next time. That's
really?
fine.
Okay.
So, what has been working for me for my like kind of eating program is time restricted eating or intermittent fasting. Essentially, if I go to bed hungry, like with an empty stomach, I sleep so well. Like to where you're starting to
Yeah, I
get
could see
a
that.
little bit of the hunger, urges. If I go to sleep in that state, so I stop eating like maybe 3, I could even stop eating at 4. No.
Absolutely not.
But if I do,
But
and
I
then
don't go to bed till 3.
will I have to get, no, I mean 3 p.m.
I know, but I don't go to bed till 3 a.m.
Well,
so if
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't eat, that would be
So that
all
would be
my
like,
day.
no, that would be more like if you stopped eating at 6, then that would probably do something for you.
Look at my baby girl.
That's a pretty lady.
And that's nachos.
That's and that's the nachos and daughter.
Uh-huh.
Look how pretty she is. That's Una.
Ham
That's the
sandwich.
same shot too. It's not I got 2 separate. Those were
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Do you like how I did that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's you mix them.
I know how I combo.
So now people are like celebrating it, and you're taking the celebration for your nachos, but it's really about the adorable daughter.
She's pretty cute, right?
Yeah, she's so cute.
That shot made me think about something, a whole other thing. But I finish your thought.
Oh, that was basically it. I sleep really, really well if I'm hungry when I go to sleep. I feel a great reward in that, and I just sleep really hard.
in the background
because
of that
I'm kind of a. Oh, there's a homeless person.
Yeah, and I hear that's
Maybe he's not homeless.
No, he's homeless. He's begging.
Oh.
And look at how, the juxtaposition of my kid who's like beaming with a big pumpkin and like food, and I didn't even see the guy in the background, and it just made me
that is
realize.
sad.
Even I saw him right away, and I was like, "Oh, should I cut this out?" And then I was like, "My kids, that's the suburbs, right?
Yeah.
My kids, like, that's just normal that there's a guy sitting on a suitcase outside of Trader Joe's in the suburbs. Like, that's what
That's a part of the
That's
landscape.
their life,
That's really sad.
right? I'm jumping super dark, but
No, it's
I
okay.
contemplated not posting that because she looks so sunny and the recipient of Ayurvedic eating.
Yeah.
and he doesn't. And it's like that's totally normal for my kids to live in a world where like there's just everywhere. It's not like they have to go into downtown LA and go down Skid Row. They can be in South Pasadena, and there's a fistful of guys on every block getting a buck.
That's
that
very
right?
sad. Yeah.
It hit me this weekend. And
Yeah.
I was like, the world that my kids live in is so different than mine.
Yeah.
I like if there was a bum, my parents would have been like, oh, he would have been a bum, and it would have been like an anomaly, in the suburbs. And now there's hundreds on every corner in LA.
Well,
Not every corner. There's hundreds in every town.
maybe it's not so different. You do live in a metropolis.
Yes, I
you
don't
live
live
more
in,
in a
like,
city than you did when you
But
were
I
a
don't
kid,
think it's
right?
rare in any small town nowadays.
Possibly. I don't know. You guys will have to tell us.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's rare.
Is it rare? Is it just in LA, New York, Chicago kind of thing, or
Yeah, I
is
don't
it
know.
like, just
Would
sleepy
it-
towns in Connecticut?
Yeah, would it be in the Trader Joe's that's in Connecticut or in
Probably
Arizona
not.
or
I
something
mean,
like that?
But still, I'm in a suburb there. I'm 30 minutes out of the city area.
right. No,
it's-
I hear you. But it's still so.
It's
even
an urban
so,
sprawl more.
Yeah, even so, in a more dense population like that, even the suburbs are more city-like than
How
some other
far
places.
because if we went to like Woodland Hills, how far do you think we'd have to go outside of LA to not find a homeless person outside
I don't
a
know.
store?
I don't know. In Southern
Probably
California, I don't know.
100 miles.
But I'm picturing Bakersfield. I think it's happening
Tons of
there
homeless
too.
there,
Yeah.
probably.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
totally.
I bet you if we went way out to like Gorman, Gorman, California.
That's a place?
It's a place up to 5. If you
Okay.
were driving, I bet you there's a homeless guy standing on that overpass.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, no, I think it's okay. We can talk about that because we're holding space and healing and awareness about that. So yeah.
well, like it's a big issue, and it's something that I just that crept into my day to day over the last 20 years here in LA, and it's like, oh, okay, this is normal, and I have raised kids for 20 years. What I didn't realize is that I have raised kids that have never known anything different.
Yeah.
They have lived in a city where there's a population, not just a random situation. There's a population of have-nots
Right.
in their world. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I did not grow up like that. If that would have been addressed, there would have been a town meeting. They would have been like, what's up with the family that doesn't have a house? What can we do?
Oh. Yeah.
It definitely, even in downtown Boston.
And it's not that we're less compassionate. There's just more of it, and we don't have each of us don't have the capacity. We aren't able to do the town
Yeah.
meeting because there's priorities going on. There is some bullshit though. There is some stuff that is taking our attention that we could cut out. We could trim some of the fat of our attention. But we all have to turn our keys on that in order to do that. You know what I mean? Like the things that are getting our attention, like.
Well, I do think that it was a massive. I read something. When I think about how much need is right around us, and how much need we address internationally. How much did they raise for the church in Paris that burned?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Billions in a couple of days.
Notre Dame
burned, which is a thing. They raised enough to economically pull most of the country out of how much?
I'm looking it up right now. So far, at least $1 billion.
$1 billion went to fix Notre Dame, which, by the way, is amazing.
There's no really fixing it. It is, but there's no fixing it. It's that
they saved it. And
the antiquity of it was the charm. You make it new.
$1 billion went to that church, which, yes, it's a thing, but like $1 billion.
$1 billion in 2 days.
2 days.
Wow.
And there's a family in an underpass in Van Nuys right now.
Right.
And we can't come up with $10,000 to put them into a house.
Yeah.
Right? And a car and a house. $20,000 would put them in a car, a house, and a year on their track. $20,000. And we put $1 billion together in 2 days for a church.
Right. There are enough resources on this planet. That's the thing. There's
enough. There's enough for everyone.
There is enough for everyone. There really and truly is.
It's like thing. And my kids, that picture just hits me home. My kid's sitting there there's a $700 phone in her hand. There's a thing, all the things. And she is not a wealthy, kid, but like that kid that's in the background is probably 25. Like the broad difference
disparity
between haves and have-nots is like. It's like Middle Ages.
Weirdly, though, there could be a $700 phone in his hand, too. That's what Apple has done.
I would love it. I mean, we could dig into it. If that guy could be, his parents could be lawyers in Santa Barbara.
Oh, my gosh.
He's just on a run.
Yeah.
I've partied with that idiot.
So one of my teachers.
I'm not praising his choices.
One of my teachers at school, he told this really funny story. He was talking about, just talking about the mind and it just beliefs in general. And he was talking about this client that he had, and he was saying this person was in such despair financially and over what was happening, with the resources and everything. And he said, and I was so heartbroken I'm her therapist, but I was so heartbroken that my codependency almost pulled out my checkbook to write her a check. He's like, that's my codependency. I didn't do it, but that's how bad it was. A few minutes later, I find out she has $4 million in the bank. And she's like, well, you never know with the markets. He's like, but the story she tells about it is the people under the underpass. You know what I mean? Like she was about to be homeless in the story and the energy. She was running about it. And so...
it is
that
all
is the truth.
I mean, it's all subjective.
It is. Well, it is all the non-physical be making the physical, but we are all turning our keys on that as it concerns people, who are in need, whether it's real need or
whether it's real or not.
Yeah,
it's the energy of it.
It's still the imbalance.
I wasn't even. I mean, what his story is and what our story is.
We don't know. Yeah,
and hardworking and the whole American thing and all that stuff that I believe in, there is a world of opportunity for everybody, and there's enough for everybody.
I'm checking the time because you have a hard out.
Yeah,
when he texted me, but I was really glad that it was out. Is what you said. I have a hard out. That was the preposition.
That would have moved you quicker if I Curt was here, so I wouldn't have.
I would have
should
driven
have just
back
defiled your studio space real quick.
Curt would have left.
I could have shot. If you were any later, I would have just shot a video of my own and let you run that. You're welcome. We would have had more than one follower.
I would have been upset if you would have messed up this studio too.
Right.
Just so you know.
Yes, he's delicate.
We should do a porn show. Let's do it.
What?
Let's have we're in the valley.
What do you want? Just to bring someone to have sex on the couch? What does it mean? A porn show?
A thought. But we could do that after the show.
You mean?
No, but
we're not doing that.
There's snacks.
What?
We could do a show about what the energy vibrations is of the porn industry happening in.
Oh, no, it's too creepy.
Why? It's not creepy. Don't be such a skeeve. It's absolutely timely. Everyone out there, especially people on the intranet web, are watching porn.
All right, fine. But
let me jump from my angelic child and homelessness to a porn show.
Yeah, okay. But let's do an energy update before you have to
get
your
hear about this.
Your hard on out of here. And Energy update. That's a segment. Do 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 do.
Hey, we're gonna have a
little bumper.
segment now?
Yeah, we're gonna have a bumper. We're gonna have
I
a,
like this. It's a Saturday Night Live thing.
There,
Right?
that's like our
Me
sound
and you
effect.
can be like a Chevy Chase and Jane Curtin sort of.
Yeah.
We can do like an energy update.
or
Bing!
some people that are still alive that other people know about. Actually, both of them are still alive, but
My Viagra just kicked in. Energy update.
triple fire.
Don't need Viagra.
All right.
Go
So
ahead.
yeah, the energy update. Well, we've just moved past the equinox. And so there is a lot of rebalancing, and as it concerns, as we move from one feeling energy to another feeling energy, and
Okay.
in the northern hemisphere, we are moving from summer to fall. In the southern hemisphere, they're moving from winter to spring. But there is a really palpable. Haven't you noticed in the last 2-3 weeks that even though it's still like in the high 80s or even 90 degrees, that there is a change in the texture of the ecosystem and of the atmosphere. I mean, a 90 degree in the middle of the summer or a 90 degree in the middle of or at the beginning of fall is totally different. And that speaks directly to our bodies, which this kind of ties in really well because you're talking about the intuitive eating.
Yeah.
And so we start to shift. There's a change of moisture. And so we might start to need to look, the moisture starts to pull in a little bit. It's getting a little bit drier, a little bit kind of maybe breezier and windier. And that's going to speak to us maybe needing to pay more attention to our emotions. The sun starts setting sooner.
I see that.
And so we need to rebalance how we are having our awareness, because the sun is the awareness, and then the dark would be the shadow side and the introspection. So if our days are running the same kind of time frame, but then the sun and the moisture are changing, then we're going to start feeling really different, right?
Yeah.
Because we keep the same schedule, even though the seasons are changing. And so it requires, anytime there's some kind of shift, it really requires a lot of introspection. It happens on the other side too. So for the southern hemisphere, if they're moving from cool to light, if they're moving from the darkness moving into the light, if you're running the same schedule and suddenly you're stimulated with all that damn fire and you're like, wow, where do I put this energy? But you kind of have this steady, you're like, what? You puke it on everybody else, right? That's what happens. So that's what's going on with that. We also moved from, this is really interesting. We also moved from Virgo season to Libra season, and Libra is about balance too.
Mm-hmm.
Libra is about having things put in order. And if you think about moving from one season to another, you need to kind of do a little introspection and retrospection to be able to see if things are moving the way they should move. And so that's kind of what I'm feeling about the energy right now. And
Are you noticing your clients or just in general people coming to you with feelings and sort of
I'm in the
things
feelings business. So yes.
So you're picking. Are people coming to you with feelings? Are they coming to you with stronger emotions?
Are people coming to you with empty glasses?
Fact. And zero feelings.
Right. Their
Devoid of
feelings.
feelings.
Their feeling is as empty
Actually,
as their
no.
glass.
Both things. It's probably exactly the same as you. When
Yeah,
people get a drink
true.
in them, they have a lot of feelings.
Well, they're
Sometimes
uninhibited
for the
then.
first time, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's going on
I
there.
like
And of
that.
course, well, you have your heart out, but we could have maybe talked about what's going on politically and socially, but yuck. That sums it up, right?
We have 7 minutes.
We do?
Yeah.
I thought you said heart out.
I was giving you the usual lay person 5-minute leeway situation.
All
'cause
right,
I'm
then we have
good for
7
10.
minutes. So
The,
we're not going to, we already talked about
Are you good
some
for
bummers.
time?
Totally.
Yeah, we talked about some bummers, and there's no need to.
No, well, I just will tell you one thing. So whenever you're listening to this, we are right in the climate of the Democrats opening an investigation for impeachment of Trump.
That's right.
And so this is funny. I'm just going to mention this bit. It's a kind of interesting point. My husband, Brian Carr, is a composer. He's a film composer.
Right.
Yeah. And so he has done about, 10 or 12 films with this one particular production company.
Yeah.
And probably 8 of those films is with one particular lead actor
Right.
who is the president of Ukraine,
Oh my gosh.
who is the one who is
What? The one in the middle of that whole thing?
Yes.
He was an actor?
Yeah, he's basically like the Tom Cruise of Ukraine and Russia even. So just think about, but he's young. He's only in his 40s. So just think if Tom Cruise around the height when he was in his 30s and 40s, like around Forrest Gump and all of
into
that.
the political arena in the middle of his career.
Yes,
As
exactly.
opposed to Trump, who did
Because-
it at the end of his acting career.
Right. Well, he never acted, but still, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Well, no,
He
not
did
really.
all
He just
those
acted like
shows.
himself.
No, he acted like a character.
Performance
Was this
careers.
the guy, the Ukraine guy?
Yeah, his name is Vladimir Zelensky.
It's nice that I am seriously like the guy and boy in the plastic bubble because I never watch the news.
No, I don't either. I mean,
But I didn't know this guy was an actor. But and look at Trump. Is he supposed to be that color? Is that a thing?
Is he a triple Aries too?
And
it's just like seeping out of his skin.
Awful. He really looks like he's gonna implode.
Isn't that what Una was holding in that photo that you had?
I know it's a thing. It's such an old joke, but I'm new on the thing, so I didn't realize that the color that he was working.
Yeah, that's the color he's
That
working.
he always does.
Yeah, he does, and his hair can fluctuate in color. Sometimes it's a bit more orange tinged.
Is that just like a spray tan situation that he does?
So that's Vladimir Zelensky. He's the president of Ukraine.
He's a good-looking dude.
He's very funny, very talented.
Yeah,
very
funny.
Really profoundly
I don't think he
talented
did
actor.
anything wrong. He just got a phone
didn't.
call, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, he
Sad
didn't.
that
It's
they're
just interesting that he's in the middle of the scandal, and my husband has worked with him a lot, and our close friends are like close friends with Vova. So yeah,
Okay.
And so much that I even know his nickname. So
Vulva. like vulva.
no, it's not, yeah, it doesn't sound like that to them. It's like Vova or something
Okay.
like that. It's short for Vladimir.
I think that's interesting. And it's so funny because I kind of punched out. This election happened, and I was not a part of it. And I was definitely purposely punched out of my own life. And then so politics took way backseat.
Yeah.
And I was in Boston when I first, it got clear. So I was like, which is a politically charged town. I was in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So it's super politically charged. And I just was like, nope, I cannot with that. Like, I can't plug into all this. And the world was ending then 4 years ago. And Trump had been voted in, which in Massachusetts really was like an H-bomb dropping on them. Like, they were just like, what? How has this happened? Can we secede from the union?
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Cambridge.
A lot of people.
Can we just go to the moon? And they would like to. Anyway, I shut it down, and I haven't really been a part of it at all. But what's nice is that it has all sort of worked out on its own.
You put your headphones in the wrong way again.
I did.
Your earbuds.
I would never even notice that for
When
like
you
10
took
years.
them off.
I've owned these for like years.
When you took off your sweatshirt, you put them back in the wrong way.
I would never know to look toward left and right. There is a little L on here,
Yeah.
though. I've owned these for probably 10 years. and
Isn't
I've
that more
never-
comfortable though?
No.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Really?
So you
Do they
checked out
just
of the
look
politics.
different?
Yeah, I can tell. They stick out weird.
Oh, they sound better.
Yeah, they're in your ears now.
I know that. Tells you how
You're
little...
not usually listening to anything but your own voice, so yeah.
No, I'm listening to mine all the time, all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so that's what's going on with politics. That's about all we want to talk about it.
Yeah. But no, I like that. I like the analogy of the, I definitely felt like a really clear shift this last few weeks. And I'm thankful that I feel that shift still. If I don't, like I return to balance. And it's uncomfortable in the beginning of fall.
I like it.
I
But
know,
you know-
but I like it, but it's an uncomfortable shift where you're like, I haven't had profound feelings in this way all summer.
Oh, I see.
Summer is light,
What
and
it-
you stay in this light
It's
air.
very fiery. Summer is the element of
it's
fire.
my home base.
It's exactly.
And I have to slow down into this like stew of fall.
So what time were you born? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, like
you did your card.
Yeah, I
chart.
did like 7 in the morning.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So that's very fiery. That's at sunrise.
Yeah.
That's at the sunrise.
Especially in
Actually, the sun
Boston in
and the
April.
sun's already risen. So it's like the height of the sun, and it's like when the UV rays are in that really kind of powerful. It's very intense. It's a very intense time of sun.
In the morning, 7 a.m.
Yeah. So the sun usually rises around
If it rises
about
in Boston,
6:45.
it might have been
I
cloudy.
think. I mean, it's different all year
rarely
long.
rises in April, and it's April.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
4'2". I'm 4'2".
I know.
Yeah.
And so I actually was born at sunset, and
Okay.
and when we're going from summer to fall, that's kind of a sunset because the sun starts setting earlier into the day, so you're more present with it. So I really like sunset. Sunset is really, and so you're like just post sunrise. So again, that makes a little bit of sense with the season turning from that sharp summer experience to the quieter introspection, make you feel about it things.
Yes.
So
Is that me dinging?
no, my Siri does that to me sometimes when I'm talking spirituality.
Oh,
She
really?
does. Yeah, she just pops
Creepy.
out. It's really creepy.
I know they're listening. It's creepy. You know how everybody's talking about that? It's very true.
No, it is true.
I'm so afraid. I have looked down at my phone and seen like a random text being created based on my conversation. Have you gotten that moment happen?
No.
Yeah, where I'm like talking to somebody and then I look down at my phone is like texting to somebody. Like I must have said a name.
You probably
Siri
accidentally hit the button that has you talk to text.
No. It just does it. It's
well,
weird.
one thing that creeped me out once
Siri's
was
confused by me.
there was a person that I had met at work. This was actually when I was acting. So it was a while ago even. This was a while ago before the invasion has gotten as intense as it is now.
Yeah.
And so it was like another actress and we just exchanged phone numbers and we texted one another just like, hey, okay, here's my phone number. And then the next time I was on Facebook, it was suggesting her as a friend. We had no friends in common.
Whoa.
That was years ago.
ago.
It was like probably 9 years ago.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah.
I know. Isn't it weird to think that like 10, 15 years ago, I didn't ever like rely on my phone for anything but phone calls.
Yeah, 15 years ago, because that's when Brian and I met, and we exchanged home phone numbers as well as our cell phone numbers.
Yeah, I had one,
yeah.
right out of the gate because I was an actor too, but it was like something I just used for like emergent. You didn't sit on it.
Well, what I do
Plus
actually
you paid by the minute.
Is just
there was
to
no endless plan.
just to piss them off. I'm off. The phone's not on. I will just sit on it, and I'll just without any pants on, and just like say, "There you go. You want to see something?" I just
without any pants on. Maybe I should just base mine like under my toilet.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There,
And
like,
say,
right
get a gander.
Yeah.
And start suggesting
Well, if
unfortunate
they are
porn
watching,
sites.
if somebody is observing or something like that, imagine how much masturbation they have to witness in a day. Billions of people are just like mainlining.
Oh, speaking of
I
that.
have a teenage boy. I would never touch his phone.
Oh.
Fact.
Oh.
I gave him his DNA. I don't want it back.
So I have a couple of friends who work for, I don't remember which one of the talking sticks it is, if it's Alexa or Google. I think it may be Google, where you go, hey, Google, and it looks things up for you.
Yeah.
And so they actually work for Google in translating so that they can get better at understanding people's commands.
Oh.
Yeah. So they can pass
I bitch about all this stuff, but like, look at if I had known that this was going to happen, right? That this phone situation was going to happen with like Uber and Uber Eats and all the things delivered to the door and everything, I wouldn't have even had kids. I only had them to feed me.
How many times? We should start making a tally of that too, of how many times he regrets having kids.
Look at a trip to the doctor and a ham sandwich comes to my door. Boom, boom.
That's going to be a much higher than how many shits and fucks.
Google search. Yes, I could Google search a corner pocket over at the nursing home. I could fucking have a sandwich sent to me while I was on my way to the chiropractor.
We could
all that shit without some brat kid that sucked all the joy out of my life.
yeah, you didn't need him. So
any of you who opted out of kids, turns out way handier.
Yeah, right.
Cheaper, handier.
So my friends who actually do the transcribing for Google, or maybe it's Alexa, I don't know. And so they're like, they can pass by the commands, they don't have to transcribe all of them if it's going to be something that's disturbing to them. But you don't always know. But they're like, but you usually can know that they're going, because it's like, hey Google. They have a creepy texture to their voice. And they're like, pass,
out.
Because they're asking for creepy porn shit.
So they say, hey Google, find,
sunburned titties. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever. And
that's not that creepy.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying
I know. I was trying to see where you'd go for creepy, and I don't think that you're like sunburned titties. That would be the most vanilla request she's gotten today. Sunburned titties. If you were 11. I was going to say crowbar up asshole.
Oh, no.
Which, by the way, something would come up. So, 100%.
I was desperately...
In fact, anything up asshole
I've been
would
desperately
come up,
trying to get my titties sunburned. And the sun's like, I don't see them. Where? I don't know. So that's what's on my mind.
Sunburned titties.
Even the sun can't find mine.
Today when we got here, Tricia was like, "Do you see? Do you like my
I
breasts?
did.
My
I was showing them off.
Her giant chest that she's rocking this week.
Yeah. Oh, I think I'm just. But I was saying I don't think
You're
it's bigger.
voluptuous.
I think I'm just thinner because the boobs. Here's the bitch about it. When I gain weight, my boobs don't get bigger. They stay the same.
Mine do. I can
normal.
rock like a 32B if I'm fat.
The density of the gut just matches them.
Oh, so they disappear more.
They just disappear. They don't get any bigger.
She was like, "Do you like my boobs?" And I'm like, "Well, I can tell you have them today."
Once you
that means
pointed
you're
them
massing
out.
Yeah. I actually know they're there.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think
we
we're
ended
actually
on Tricia's tits.
Tricia's tits. Yeah,
which are not
I like
sunburnt.
that. I like that because we never end on those.
we really don't.
The sun is
Let's
setting.
end on it. That can be another segment. Where are we at with Tricia's tits and the spiritual thing?
I think it's even funny to call them tits because that sounds very adult.
Yeah.
I don't really think that they're more like boobies. I was telling Brian was like talking about, I was like running down the hallway fast and I like grabbed them like this and he was laughing about how I had to like stop them from hurting. And I was like, even small ones, like you think that big ones hurt when you run without support, but even small ones actually they hurt more because now the nipple is just whipping like ficking, 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 ficking.
I don't know if I believe that. If we got a big chested girl in here, I'm sure she would dispute that yours hurt more.
But see, there's no way
she
we
gets
can
a
know,
black
right?
Eye. You're just
but
talking
there's
about
no way we
nipple,
can know.
A little like nipple. You're just getting wind on the nipple.
That's one of those things that we can't know because because fake boobs they don't bounce the same
Probably
as naturals.
Probably hurts more for me to run down the hall with balls flapping.
That's the thing. We'll never know. Does getting kicked in the balls hurt worse than childbirth? We'll never know. No one can ever know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So that's what we'll end on.
Yes,
and well, this was an episode.
Super spiritual.
And
Don't you feel healed?
Are we gonna have another one soon? Are we gonna do this weekly?
I think we're doing it weekly.
We're doing it weekly?
Yeah.
So okay, we'll be doing it Mondays.
It seems like Monday. Monday is good for me.
All right, Monday's
really digging,
good.
But do you want to make it 11 since you had a little problem with your punctuality?
We'll
today?
see. We'll see about that.
Did you notice that? Because the Aries all over the place was here on time, and the decisive Virgo.
Well, my Pisces gave no shits, and my Virgo said, "Okay, you're in charge." Then Pisces.
Yes, I was here, ready, just all Ayurvedically eaten up.
We were working
in shake some banana toast.
So we are going to be doing this weekly. You can join us live. We will define the time
live
a little
right
bit
now,
more.
Right?
We are live. We'll define the time when you can join us live, but you can also find it on our podcast feed and on our YouTube channel. Find Enlightened AF. Yes. And so do please like, subscribe, share, and comment and suggest and get in the game. And if you are sensitive about sunburned titties, then you might not want to watch.
Oh, yes.
Love you guys. See you next time.
Bye, guys. Thanks. See ya.